Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Let me introduce myself. My name is Desa Nyoman Ayulandari. Today, I with my friends Dayu Puspita, Meriantini and Kartika will be explain about strategy in teaching writing. First, as we know, in language learning, there are 4 basic skills that students must be mastered, right? The first one is listening, continue to speaking, next is reading, and the last one is writing. Writing itself is an ability to express what someone read and heard in the written forms, or an ability to express idea, opinion, feeling in the written forms. Susilawati also explained that writing also can be said as the ability to create idea into word and paper. Do you know why writing mentioned to be the last basic skill that to be mastered by a student? It's because writing is a complex skill, whereas writing have the complexity in spelling, vocabulary, grammar structures, and many others. There are also the 2 important features of writing. It is the organization and also the coherence. Writing it also as a natural skill where students must be practiced to able to master this skill, because sometimes maybe people can write spontaneously, but the others can do that. They need to practice more and more to know how the way they can write in correctly way. So the opinion, the idea in the text can express in the good way, so the reader can get the point of our text that we write. And then why writing skill is important for students? As I mentioned before, writing is one of part in basic language that student must be mastered to be able in learning language, not just in language, but in other lesson. We do writing activity every day, not just student, but also people around the world do the writing exercise when they send a message to their friend, and others when they doing the tasks they write it, and then when we learning we take a note about something that teacher explain. And then it's important because writing aim is a student have the ability to express idea, experience, and opinion correctly, so they can express it in correctly way. So it's important for students to be master writing skill, and then it helps them to express their idea in order to communicate indirectly with the other people. Like I said before, for example, when we send a message or email to our lecturer, so ask about the topic that we don't understand, we need to write an email in correct way, so the lecturer will get the meaning what we want to ask. If we do, for example, if we wrong in write the email, maybe our lecturer don't get the point that we want to ask to them, like that. Students also face some difficulties in writing. Some students feel that writing is difficult because they have no idea to develop their sentence and follow the aspect of writing. As you know, there are a lot of aspects in writing that students must be considered, and also teacher must be considered when they teaching a writing skill. They must tell the student the aspect, and the student must understand each of all the aspect in writing. And then student writing knowledge is low because they have a lack of writing models. They have no models in writing, so they can start to write something in correctly way. And then students do not have any clue to write, so they difficulties to organize the idea. they have the idea, but they cannot support the idea with the correct sentence. As we know, in a written paragraph, for example, we have the topic sentence. So, and then we need to support it with the supporting sentence, and then make a conclusion. We need to make sure that the idea, the supporting detail, and the conclusion match each other. It support each other. So it will be the perfect paragraph. And then I also will be explaining you some context. In some context, I mean some aspect in writing that really important to know by student, because it's really because in produce a product of writing, student must be considered about this aspect. There are 5 aspects. The first one is content. The term's content related to how well student put the thesis statement and support it with some related idea. So as I mentioned before, if student make a paragraph, they need to make sure that the thesis statement is supported by the related idea. And the second is organization. The term of organization is writing deal with how well the student function the introduction, body, and conclusion. As conclusion as well as possible. And then the third is discourses. The term discourses here deal with the use of the topic sentence, paragraph unity, and etc. When the student, when making a product of writing, they need to make sure that the paragraph that they make is unity, support each other. And then the next is vocabulary. Vocabulary is all words that person know and use. In writing, the student should know how to choose the appropriate word to forms of clauses, a sentence, in order to produce a meaningful and effective product of writing. As we know, in English language, there are so many words that has same meaning. So student makes the challenge here. Student need make sure that they choose the appropriate word in their paragraph. And then the last one is mechanic. Mechanic in writing are related to spelling and punctuation and concatenation, where the student need to consider about the spelling of the sentence, spelling of the word. If they spelling in wrong way, the meaning will be changed. And then they also must consider about the punctuation, because if the punctuation is wrong, it will be changed the connotation. So here's the teacher take the responsibility to teach the student how to produce a product of writing, how to produce a good product of writing, and considers about this aspect. So student must be apply some strategy and method or activity that can help student in improve their speaking, in writing skill. So in the strategy will be explained by my friend.
Hello everyone, before I continue my friend's presentation, let me introduce myself. I'm Ketut Kartikayani, NIM 18120211071 from 5A class. So in this video, I'm going to explain about strategy for teaching writing. There are 4 strategies that we will discuss in this video. The first one is mind map strategy. The second one is TAD strategy, and the third one is please strategy, and the last one is power strategy. But in this occasion, I'm just going to explain 2 strategy. The first one is mind map strategy, and the second one is TAD strategy. And the third and the fourth strategy will be presented by my friend. Okay, the first I'm going to talk about mind map strategy. Maybe this strategy is quite familiar with us. So, do you know what is mind map strategy? So, according to Busan 1991, as cited in Mirza 2016, mind map is a diagram that is used to represent works, ideas, tasks, or other item linked to and arranged in a radial around a central keyword. Mind map strategy is effective to explore student ideas and generate thought on writing ideas. So this strategy is appropriate to be applied on the first stage of writing, as we call it as pre-writing stage. So the procedure of mind map strategy is the first student must find their topic to make for their writing. I mean, what topic that they will discuss on their writing, and after that they will explore their ideas about the things that relate to the topic that they will discuss, and after that they try to put that things on the mind map. After they finish to make a mind map, they will start student will start to make a draft of their writing based on the mind map. That mind map strategy, it has its strengths and also its weakness. Okay, the first I will talk about the strength of mind map strategy. First, mind map strategy will help a student to organize and declassify the concept of information which relate to the topic that they will discuss. As you can see at the slide, there is example of my mind map. You know that the keyword of this mind map is on the center, and then the other is things that relate to the topic. The second one is it is possible to eliminate some notes that is not important in mind map. Okay, and the third, this strategy will also help students to be more creative. Why mind map will help students be more creative? Because mind maps strategy is emphasize brainstorming, pre-association, and radiant thinking for students. Mind map strategy also helps students to be faster to make writing. Why? Because mind maps use symbol, words, or keywords and diagram to draw student ideas during the mind map. So it will help students so much. Their ideas will put on the mind map, so it will make a student faster to write their writing than before. The next, about the weakness of mind map strategy. Okay, the first, student will find any difficulties in to develop a good mind map. Maybe they will difficult to find the ideas that they will discuss. And the second one is, this strategy requires student to be creative thinking to determine the concept of their mind map. Next, we move to the second strategy, TAD strategy, transition, action, and detail strategy. According to PH 2003, as cited in Egy Pratama 2019, TAD strategy is a writing strategy which use transition, action, and detail chart, consists of columns and rows, which used to show a sequence of events. Procedure of TAD strategy, I think it is quite simple. The first, student will start with to find out the topic, and then student must fill the TAD chart, and after that student must write the draft of their writing based on the TAD chart before. Same as mind map strategy, this strategy also has weakness and also strengths. And for the first, we'll talk about the strength of this strategy. Okay, this strategy will encourage students to make more details for one action, and it will make their writing more interesting too. This strategy also will help students to learn how to structure a sequence of event and use appropriate transition for the writing. Develop student voice and word choices. Student voice, I mean that students are showing their awareness by using an interesting word to impact the readers. Word choices, I mean that my student experiment words which obtain from their conversation or from other author to craft their sentences in writing. And next we talk about the weakness of this strategy. Okay, the first, student will find difficulties to express their ideas. Maybe it because of their lack of grammar, vocabulary, and writing rule. And the next, maybe students use the same conjunction in transition columns. Maybe there are some conjunction that are the same which used by a teacher in transition columns. Well guys, that's all about my presentation in this video. So for next strategy will be presented by my friends. See you on the next video guys. Bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary and now I will continue the presentation. The third strategy is please strategy. Please is the mnemonic writing strategy that guides the student to write all of the parts of a paragraph using planning, composing, and revising component. Please strategy can help students to generate their ideas and guide them while writing. The procedure of please strategy is R-pick. Means that students are led to choose their topic of their writing. And the next is list. Students make a list for their ideas. And the next is evaluate. Students evaluate the list and plan the best way to arrange their ideas. And next is activate. Students are taught how to make simple and a short topic sentence which can activate the ideas. The next is supply. Students supply the supporting detail to support the topic sentence. And the last is end. It means student conclude or summary the whole ideas. The next is strengths and weaknesses of please strategy. Please strategy also have the number of advantages. They are this strategy can improve students' ability to concurrent paragraphs to form text. The second is this strategy also helps students to start reading, starting from making plans, pre-reading, to spill ideas as well as revising the reading. And the third is last but not least. This strategy leads a student to be more confident and independent in finding and spilling topics from their ideas. And for the weaknesses is it takes a long time because students have to do each step before starting to write. And the last is list making is quite difficult for the students who have limited vocabulary because they don't know what to put on the list. And next, the power strategy. The power technique consists of five stages that spell out the steps of the reading process. They include planning, organizing, reading, editing, and revising. It helps students to organize their ideas by using a complete structure. In planning a stage, the teacher guides a student to find the ideas or topic by giving some question like, for whom am I reading? And why am I reading this? In organized stage, students choose the pattern they will write in story, compare or contrast, explanation or problem or solution. Reading stage is the time for students to write a draft. Teachers may explain how to use the information from the planning and organize stage. Editing stage, it contains self-evaluate and editing. Students reread and evaluate the draft and edit directly. The last is revision. Students must look at the parts of the reading to ensure that they work together to support the purpose of reading. And the next is the strengths and weaknesses of power strategy. Agustina 2018 states that power strategy has some advantages. They are power strategy is it manages students' ideas by following the sequential process of this strategy. The second is from the thing sheet in the preparing stage can stimulate students' idea without ignoring the important points. And the last strength is by using edit sheet in edit stage will help to correct students' work and let them become independently reader. And for the weaknesses of power strategy, they are in the strategy, students can edit their reading independently, but this can also cause all the results of their reading to be less accurate. And the last is teachers must have sufficient time to monitor or correct students' reading. Okay, that's all my presentation. The next presentation will presenting by Dayu. Thank you.
Hi everyone, you can see on the slide that in this part we will learn about activities in teaching writing. So as a teacher, we have to know the past activities that can be used to improve the skill of writing of the students. And here I have 4 activities. The first one is haikus, the second one is whole class stories, the third one is classical music, and the last one is newspaper. And now we will go to the next explanation. Okay, let us start from the first activity. It is haikus. Haikus itself very useful for the students to make them to be more creative, to be more abstract, and to be more detailed. So in this activity, students will ask to count the syllable of the words of some words, and then the other students will make reflection of what their friends do. This is not only to improve their writing but also their speaking. The student will be asked to speak loud in front of the class, and then the other students will write down their thoughts and also share it to the whole of the class. Okay, now we move to the second activity, whole class stories. So in the whole class stories, the student will be asked to make a story. The first step is teacher
will ask the student to write down a word or a topic in a small piece of paper, and then each of the student will submit it to the teacher. Next, the teacher will give it to the all students randomly and start begin or write in the whiteboard a sentence to begin the story, and then ask the student one by one to make a sentence to continue the story based on the word that they got from the paper. This is very helpful for students because they will to be creative to make a story that can be fulfill the story itself. Okay guys, we will move to the next activity that can be applied in teaching writing. It is classical music. You can read on the slide that this classical music is not a monotonous activity. It is very interesting and can help the student to improve their writing skill and also their listening skill. So the teacher will ask the students to listen to the music or a song, and then ask them to write down their perception on the paper, and then the student can share the paper, and the teacher also make a revision if there is a misword that the student do, and ask the student to really listen to the song later time in order to determine whether the same ideas come to mind or drastically different ones. As we know, we cannot hear a music or a song in one time, and we can ask the student to re-listen for many times at home. Okay everyone, so the last activity is newspaper. As we know, newspaper has a lot of word, and the student can improve it by reading newspaper. But in this activity, this is very fun activity. First, the student will choose and read their own article. They will choose their own article, and then they will write response in title letter to the editor. This response contains of agreement, this or approval of the context of the article. And also the teacher let the student to ask their if there is any word that they do not understand, and try to relate it to the context of the article. So the student don't need to know the word, but if they understand the context, they will get the meaning of the word itself. This is very useful for the student to make their be critical in response a long text. Okay everyone, I think that's all the activities that can I give to you. You need to search more to choose your appropriate, your best activities that can be implemented in teaching writing. And now we will move to the last part of this video. It is conclusion. See you. Okay everyone, now we are in the conclusion part of teaching writing. As you can read on the slide, writing is one of the basic the important of the language basic skills. Writing itself helps the students to express their ideas, their thoughts, experiences, and also opinions. When you cannot talk it, then you can write it. This is very really complex because it needs many elements that must consider by the teacher and also the students. They have to encourage each other, and in this part also we have explained about the strategies that can be applied by the teacher to teach about the writing. The first one is mind map, thought, please, and also power strategy. It's not only the strategy, but we have mentioned also the activities like haikus, whole class stories, classical music, and also newspaper activity. I hope this strategy and activity help you to be more creative, to make a fun class, an interesting class, to make the student easier to learn, to improve their writing skill. Thank you. Okay everyone, I think that's all of our presentations. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.